problems, just refresh your screen, okay? Um, all right, so I'm going to get started. So for those of you who are on this call today and that don't know me, I am Jen Scalia. I am a business coach. I work with female entrepreneurs who are ready to take their business to the next level. So I am going to show you guys exactly what I did over the last 90 days. To book $100,000 in new clients. So I just want to give you the heads up that it is a lot. As I was actually creating these slides in this presentation, I was just like, wow, I actually did so much. And, you know, this really can be something that you take and run with, or it can be something where you take, you know, pieces of what I've done and replicate it in your own business. But it really is all up to you. You define what success looks like for you. So if you want to make 100K in 90 days, totally doable. It's going to take work. You know, if you want to make $100,000 in a year, you may be able to relax a little bit, take some of these things, implement them, and get to that for the year. Maybe some people only want to make about $5,000 a month. You can also do that using these steps as well. So it really is all about you, what you want, how much you want to make, how hard you want to work, how many hours you want to make, how much you're willing to put into it. All of those things are factors. And so, you know, this is why I kind of wanted to do this case study, is because, you know, I've been active in a lot of the Facebook groups and online. And, you know, for some people, it seems like this just happened, you know, and it happened really fast and it happened, you know, overnight. But that is not the truth of the matter. And I just want you guys to know that because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that goes around on the internet and we just see these quote unquote overnight success stories, and sometimes we get discouraged by it. I mean, I know I did, you know, at some point in my business where, you know, it's just like, wow, all these people are having this success and I'm just sitting here struggling. So I want to give you guys, you know, a really intimate behind the scenes look at what it took for me to break that and really, you know, hit these numbers in such a short period of time. So again, I am Jen Scalia, and I am a business coach for entrepreneurs who are ready to step up their game. I actually started out as a life and relationship coach, and I found that that wasn't really what I desired. I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't my sweet spot. It just wasn't doing it for me. When I actually switched gears and started to focus on the things that I was really good at and started doing more of that, that complete alignment is the shift that I needed to start really making money in my business. And I want you guys to do the same. So just make sure these tactics and these things that I'm going to go over today has to be in line with what you're doing as far as you knowing your niche, your ideal client, how you serve them, why you serve them. So once you have that, then you can move on to these steps. I wouldn't want you to take these steps without having complete clarity on those things first. So I just want to talk a little bit about my why, because I feel that the why is so important. I really feel like if you have a strong enough why, it keeps you going. It really, you know, during those bad days and the hard times and those months where you feel like you're not going to be able to pay your rent, your why is what's going to keep you going. Your why is what's going to keep you from not going back to corporate job, not going, you know, and quitting. My why is my son, Dante. He is almost 4.5 now. And, you know, he's my everything right now. It's just me and him. And so I have to make this work. I have to make it work for him so that I can provide a life for him, so that I can send him to school, so I can pay for, you know, vacations for us together. I don't have, you know, a partner right now that is helping me pay bills or that's doing any of that stuff for me. So he is my why, and this is why I do everything. So every time, you know, that little doubt comes into mind, I always think about what I even started this for, and it is definitely for him. So that's another thing I would love you guys to get really clear on too, is like, why are you really doing this? And I've talked about this before, and I always get this answer from people that, they tell me that they're doing it because they want to help people. And I'm going to call BS on that because obviously we want to help people. We're coaches, we want to help people, we want to make a difference. That's a given, but we can do that in so many other ways without, going through the trials and tribulations and the struggles and everything that it takes to really be an entrepreneur. So I really want you guys to start to think about your why. Like, why are you really doing this? Is it to afford a specific lifestyle? Is it to provide for your family? Is it to be a leader in your industry? What is that real why? What is that thing that's going to keep you going when the going gets tough, basically? So I'm going to give a little recap on what happened, I guess, before January, to kind of get me to this point where I actually was ready to soar. So from January to September of last year of 2014, I really, really struggled in my business. I was still kind of struggling to find out like what my niche was. I knew I wanted to change lives. I knew I wanted to, impact people and inspire people. And I kind of struggled back and forth between life coaching, relationship coaching. I actually started this whole journey as, in social media, which we can actually talk about at a different time. I don't want to take a bunch of your time talking about, my backstory, but I really struggled. I did not put myself out there. I am a born introvert. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but I am. So it was really hard for me to kind of go out there, go on social media, go, on the internet and go on Facebook and Instagram and start telling people what I did. I mean, in the first real year of my business, I never asked a single person for business. Therefore, I never got a client. My first client I got in February of 2014. And I feel like I waffled a lot. I took a ton of different courses, different programs, tried to do it on my own, and I failed a lot. In the meantime, I was able to build a list and a social media following, but I was still hiding when it came to what I had to offer, what results I could give to my clients. So it helped me kind of build that part, but myself, I wasn't confident in what I had to offer. So I hid, I hid, and it got so bad for me. Unfortunately, I had to hit rock bottom in order to say, you know what, enough is enough. Why did I start this? And that's why I go back to my why. And I knew I had to change things. I knew I had to make a difference in my life if I wanted to make a difference in his. So in September of 2014, about 6-7 months ago, I hired a business coach for myself, a real one, not a course, not a program, not a group thing, actually somebody to work with me one-on-one. That business coach cost me, I think it was about almost $8,000, $7,500. By the time I was done, paying my payment plan and everything like that. I also spent about $2,500 on branding for my website. And during that time working with my coach, I really was able to master my mindset, my money mindset. I was able to figure out how to manifest things. So in September, October, November, and December, I actually did start to gain a little bit of traction in my business. It wasn't where I'm at now, but I did start making a little bit of money, I think, around the $5,000 or $6,000 a month mark. So that was way better than what I had previously done. So in December, actually, I had my best month ever at the time, which was $12,000. And I'll have to be honest with you, I did not make that money doing anything that I'm doing now as far as programs or services. And I'll get into that a little bit later as to how I made that $12,000. But that $12,000 actually allowed me to pay for my coach, to pay for all the necessary upgrades that I needed in my business to really, come out on top and look professional and really do the things that I wanted to do. It allowed me to pay my bills. And I lost that $12,000 just as quickly as I gained it. In January, I actually had less than $100 in my bank account, because I was spending the money on different things. I was spending it on my coach. I was still buying other programs and courses, and I was spending it on copy. And, I just wasn't really smart with the money. So, at that point, I did start to worry again. And I'm talking, 90 days ago, guys. This is in January. I was worried that I would not get clients. I remember posting in my coaches group that I was worried that I wasn't going to get clients and that, I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills, but I kept going. And I actually want to let you guys know that in that time, I actually changed direction. So for those of you who think that it's not possible to happen so quickly, I went from being a relationship coach, last year, to being a confidence coach, and that kind of transitioning into business coaching. So in January 2015, I was new at what I was doing. I wasn't new to the online game. So I had been in it. I had my website up. I was familiar with the strategies and the marketing and things like that. But essentially, I changed direction. So essentially, I was starting from zero because all of these people that I had built my list on, they got on my list because I was teaching them about relationships. So I pretty much had to start over in January. Now, I actually wanted to give you a real screenshot of my bank account in January. So, of course, I have on here the ugly truth, and I kind of already touched on that I obviously had no idea how to manage my money. You'll see that I start to gain momentum here, but on January 12th, I had $48.42 in my bank account. I started selling programs, and that's where you'll see on the right side of the screen is the numbers actually started to go up, and they've been going up and up and up. So that is a really great thing, and I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So there were several things that I did consistently, and I talk about this all the time. So anybody that's been on any of my other calls, webinars, or trainings, consistency is key. Keep going. Find that one thing and keep going with it. Don't quit. Most people just quit too early. That's why they don't succeed. So I want to talk about 8 different things that I did consistently. I don't want to say daily because I didn't do them all daily, but pretty much on a daily or weekly basis, one of these 8 things was done consistently. So the first thing is marketing. Marketing was me telling people what I did. And I did this all the time. I told them in my newsletters. I told them in my social media, in Facebook groups that I was in. I told everyone what I did all the time. I was consistently giving value, sharing my stories, which included my successes and my failures. So that was me marketing myself. And I want to let you guys know here that if you are building this business online, which is my target market, but this can also apply to, any other business. But if you are looking to build an online business, that shameless self-promotion is key. You kind of have to get over it. You have to get over yourself. You have to get over your ego and realize that if you want people to know about you, you have to tell them about yourself. They're not just going to, stumble upon you. You have to put yourself out there. So if anybody has resistance around that, kind of like how I did in my first year, it really is something that you're eventually going to have to decide. Is my business, is my why worth more than my ego? Is it worth more than me being embarrassed, if I put something out there or that people won't like me? Marketing is key. You have to just consistently tell people what you do, how you do it, and who you do it for. The second thing I did consistently was promotions. Now, promotions are different than marketing. Promotions are more along the lines of actually promoting something. So actually trying to get people on my list, doing calls. I posted in Facebook groups, I'm going to say a good 5 to 7 times a week, at least once a day. Sometimes I posted 3 or 4 times a day. I had no shame. I really didn't have a choice at that point. I saw the goal, I saw the end in mind, and I went for it. The third thing I did was my newsletter consistently. And this is something I see a lot of my clients, new coaches, and other people who aren't doing this consistently. Now, if you think about the people who are really killing it online and you sign up for their newsletter, you know when you're getting their newsletter. You're getting it every week. You're getting it on the same day, usually at the same time every week. There's that consistency there. So if you did not have a newsletter, or if you have a list, even if your list is 10 people or 15 people, you still need to get into this habit of sending them out a newsletter every week. Or, in the beginning, maybe you want to do it every other week, but whatever it is that you choose, you want to really stay consistent with that, and make sure that those newsletters are valuable. Make sure that they're getting what they need in that newsletter. Don't ever feel like you're going to overgive or anything like that. You can never overgive. So sending out that newsletter every week was key for me to really build relationships with those people on my list. I really nurtured those people that were on my list. Number 4 was to connect. And this was really about creating relationships. And this is like the crux of my business, was creating relationships with people. And that was usually through social media. And these are not just potential clients. These are people that were peers, other coaches, people that could possibly be collaborators and things like that. But I was always connecting. So whether that be, through a private message or through actual, just a Facebook post or something like that, I was consistently connecting with people, and that's how people started to get to know me. The next thing I did consistently was to create. And I feel like this is, hard for some people, but if this is easy for you and you're just like a content machine, like, you're going to kill it, because you need to consistently create. And what I mean by creating is like blog posts, guest blog posts, promotions, new programs, webinars, challenges, engaging Facebook posts. Like, I was constantly creating stuff to go out. And like I said, this goes back to no shame. I was putting it out there. I was coming up with stuff and I was putting it out there. I was coming up with the stuff and I was putting it out there on a consistent basis, pretty much every day. The next thing I did was actually offer free calls. So the free calls, what I mean by that is the free training calls. So similar to this. So they were either a webinar, or if anybody has been following me for some time now, when I was doing the wake up calls, I did those, once a week consistently. And I just gave value, value, value. I didn't sell anything on these training calls. I was just putting myself as the authority. I was letting people know, where I stood, what I knew, and I was giving them value. No pitch, just giving information consistently every week, sometimes twice a week. The next thing I did that was very consistent, and I see a lot of people have resistance to this, and I want to talk about this a little bit, was free coaching. Now, I offered just in the last 3 months about 60 or so free coaching calls. So these were not consults. These were not my discovery calls. They were not my clarity calls. They were free coaching calls. No pitch coaching calls. I did 60 of them this year in the last 90 days. The previous year I had done about 100. So, and if you look to anybody that has been successful, well, not anybody, but most people that have been successful have also done this as well. I know, if anybody follows Kendrick Shope, I believe she did this in her first year of business as well. She offered 100 free coaching calls. So this was crucial. This was really crucial, not only in my confidence, but really getting my name out there, having people, provide me with testimonials, and really to know that I knew what I was talking about. It kind of gave me that little edge there. People just started talking about me. I mean, that's 60 people right there that I had on the phone. Now, the last thing I did consistently was list building. List building has been a huge part of my success. Like I mentioned before with my newsletter, I really nurture my people, but list building has always been a priority in everything that I do. So when I do the free calls, when I do the free training, guest posting, when I do my free challenges, when I create new opt-ins and things like that, it's all to do list building. I want to get people on my list so that I can communicate with them on a regular basis, so that I can show them that I know what I'm talking about, so that I can provide them value outside of social media. I feel like a lot of people have this social media, Facebook group as like their marketing plan. Like, Facebook group is not your marketing plan. Facebook group can be part of it, but that cannot be your whole marketing plan. There's got to be more than that. So now I want to get into, actually, I'm going to hop over to the chat because people are typing stuff in here. So I'm going to just check the chat real quick, and then I'm going to get into exactly what I did, my exact steps that I did. Okay. I can see. Okay. I love the idea of free coaching. Nancy says, Jen, how did you have the balls to switch to business coaching when your own business hadn't been successful yet? Nancy, I actually had a business before this that was very successful. So I had done, I've actually been like a born entrepreneur. It's definitely been something in me. I actually had a clothing company with my ex-husband that was very successful. We were on reality shows and things like that. So I had businesses before. It just was my life coaching business didn't take off the way I had hoped it was. And the reason why is because I wasn't aligned. I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do, what I was really passionate about, or what was really good for me. Can you guys see my face? Or are you seeing the screen share? Just checking on here. All right. Just want to check one thing, and then I am going to go into the exact steps that I took here. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, so I want to get into the exact steps I did so you guys can kind of have like this repeatable process. So the first thing I did, and this I kind of mentioned in the beginning, was I actually created a program that was what I call my hustle program. So this program had nothing to do with what I was doing previously in coaching, and also had nothing to do with what I'm doing now in coaching. But it was something that I was really good at, and it was building my following on Instagram. So I actually created this Instagram program that I sold, and I had sold it for, I think I started out about selling it for like $1.99 for the hour, and it ended up going up to $2.99 because I had such a high demand for it. But by doing this program, I actually ended up with, over, I think it was over $16,000 total that I made from this one program. And that actually allowed me to do all the things that I wanted to do in my business. It allowed me to pay for my coach. It allowed me to pay for my new branding. It allowed me to pay for all of these things that I needed. The next thing I did, we still see you and not the slides. Okay, are you guys seeing the slides now? I want to make sure that you can see the slides. Okay, should be working now. All right. The next thing I did was I actually ran a free challenge. I ran a free confidence challenge in my group. And that actually increased my list by about, I think it was 400, 430, something like that, by doing this confidence challenge. And what I did was I brought people from my list, and I brought people from Instagram over to my private Facebook group. So that kind of allowed me to have like a different interaction with these people. I was actually able to interact with them on, okay, good. Um, interact with them on a deeper level. So instead of just seeing them on Instagram, or instead of just seeing them on Facebook, I actually was able to interact with them in my own private group. So that was really cool. It actually helped me build even more relationships, which, like I said, the crux of, I believe, my entire business is the fact that I was able to build these relationships with people. And I was able to build that know, like, and trust factor, which I talked about on last week's call. The next thing I did in January was the no pitch mini sessions. So the no pitch mini sessions were done. I did 40. I put them out there, and I ended up having to actually cut it off. Like, I had to get rid of the page that people were signing up for because I had so many people sign up quickly. So I did 40 no pitch mini sessions. Now, these weren't an hour call either. These were 20 to 30-minute calls. So if this is something you want to implement for yourself, I definitely wouldn't do an hour for this no pitch mini session. I would keep it small, keep it short, but like the name implies, you're not pitching on this call. You're just helping. So you choose one topic. You know, it might be helpful for you to say, you know, I'm going to coach you around, you know, one particular problem, and you give your all during that session. I tell my clients, you coach your ass off. You coach your ass off during these sessions, and that's what's going to create these raving fans. That's what's going to create your testimonials. That's what's going to create people wanting to work with you even further. So that the free coaching, I feel like a lot of newer coaches, or a lot of coaches that I approach, they don't want to do them. You know, they're just, you know, making excuses. Now, guys, I still do pitch free mini sessions, and I'm booked solid. So it's just part of what I do. It's part of my service to you guys, and to just really living my passion is to do these sessions and to coach all the time. And if you do not have a book full of paying coaching clients, you need to be doing some pitch free mini sessions. You need to be coaching someone on a weekly basis. The next thing I did was what I call a no-brainer offer. And this is something that can definitely be replicated by all of you. The no-brainer offer was an offer that I created. I actually remember to the day, like, how I did it. I ended up getting a babysitter, and I usually don't have, you know, calls on Wednesdays because I'm home with my son, and I found out that I had a babysitter that day. So I just put something out that was like, hey, guess what? I have a babysitter tomorrow. I have 7 spots open for 1-hour coaching calls. They're $150. I have 7 spots. Sold all 7 spots. Those calls were not intended to be pitched. They weren't for me to sell my program or anything like that. They were just for me to help them for that hour and give them as much as I could in that hour. And I really created some raving fans in that hour of the 150, and it felt really good because I was actually getting paid as well. So it wasn't like I was doing all these free calls and not getting paid. You know, I was getting paid, and I was giving service and value in exchange for that. So that felt really good. So that's something that you can just decide to do, and pick the no-brainer offer. Have it be something that's part of your program. So say if you are a business coach yourself, maybe your no-brainer offer is just a quick, you know, clarity session on your ideal client or your ideal niche, something like that, where it's 1 hour, it's a no-brainer price. And when I say no-brainer price, I'm talking less than 200, probably closer around the 97 to like 150 range. People don't really have to think about if something is $200, $300, $350. That's something you have to think about when you are going to purchase something. So make it a no-brainer, offer it up, offer it to your list, offer it on social media, offer it in groups, the groups that you're allowed to promote in, and go for it. The 5th thing I did was follow up, follow up, follow up. Now, I know you guys hear this all the time, but it is so true. So all of these people, the people that I did no-brainer offer for, people that I had consult calls with, and the people that I had no pitch-free mini sessions with, all got followed up with on a regular basis. And it wasn't a sleazy type follow-up. It was really like, hey, how are you doing? Just checking in on you, just to show them that I was present, aware, and that I really cared about them and their success, and that I remembered about them. So that was an integral part of my process as well, was just really following up with these people. The sixth thing I did in January was I created a short 6-week group program that was only available for 10 women. So I made it very urgent that if they wanted to be one of the 10 women, they had to sign up. This I ran for $497. It was called Shake It Up at the time. And I was really seeking out these women that wanted to shake things up in their business. And I was able to turn, I think I ended up actually getting 11 people that signed up for this. I went over my 10, and I ended up converting about 4 of those people into long-term clients. So this can work really well, especially if you're in the beginning and you just have something that you can offer as like a group program. Now, mind you, I didn't do a big, huge launch or anything like that during this. I actually this was those relationships that I had built that whole month. I actually went to those people and, personally invited them. I would just, message them and I said, hey, I have this thing. Like, I think you'd be really great for it. Like, here's all the details. Here's the price. This is the day we start. And that worked really, really well. And it was really cool because I was actually able to handpick the people that I wanted in the program. So the program ended up being really, really awesome. Like, everybody just got along really well. And it was awesome. And then, like I said, I ended up converting 4 of those people to work with me long-term after they had already, committed to working with me on a shorter term basis. So that might work as well, especially if you're new or you're just not getting a lot of traction and people aren't buying your $25, $35, or $5,000 program. Try to get them in on, a smaller commitment, time-wise and money-wise, and then you can upgrade them. All right, so February came around, and what I did in February was wake-up calls. So for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know about these calls, and what they were was solid value, no pitch. I was just giving information. I did this once a week. The calls were about 15 to 20 minutes long. I had people come in and just call in on my conference call line. And I did a quick call and I gave a ton of value. And I got so much good response from this because I was just giving. I did not ask for a sale. I did not ask them to, buy into anything, nothing. It was just me giving value and also building relationships with these people. It's really easy to, kind of post things on Facebook or, send out a newsletter. But if people see you and hear you, it ups that KLT factor so much more than if they're just reading words that you wrote. The next thing I did in February was I created and sold a lower cost program. So at the time, my program was $3,600, and that was my only offer. So what I did was I saw a need for people to have help with their programs. So I created and sold what I called the 10K Lab. I actually ended up selling 6 of those at $997. And again, I think 2 people I actually upgraded to my longer term package after they had bought the 10K Lab. The next thing I did was just really, really focusing on booking clarity calls. So people ask me this all the time. They're like, how do I book clarity calls? Like, how do I get people on the phone? My simple answer is ask. Anytime I've ever got an influx of people who wanted to get on clarity calls with me, I totally asked for them. So I would post in Facebook group and, just have a really compelling post. And at the end, I would say, hey, if you want to find out how you can do this for your business too, book a clarity call with me. And that's when I got the most of them. Another thing you can do is actually add this to the bottom of your newsletter. So right at the bottom of your newsletter, when you do your thing at the bottom, you can, introduce yourself and say, hey, I have a couple clarity calls, or I have a couple spots open for clarity calls this week. If you're interested, book here. Just ask for them. There's tons of ways to get your name out there, get people on your list. Once they're there, nurture them and ask for the clarity call. It's a lot easier to ask for something free than it is to ask them to pay a couple $1,000s for something. And I actually just went through my list there, and I had also had, in addition to those 60 free calls, I had booked 30 clarity calls in the last 3 months. The next thing I did was I actually created my own group. Now, I had a group previously with my other business, with the life coaching business, and it just didn't go. I had about 600 members in there, and Facebook wouldn't let me change the name, so I had to create a new group, which kind of killed me a little bit, but I did, and I'm so glad that I did, because this new group is so in line with what I offer and how I want my business to be. And I've actually gotten over 1,500 members in that group in the last 2 months. And I really make the group a place that's safe. I really want the group to be somewhere that's completely different. I feel like a lot of people are doing groups right now. So if you are going to do a group and that is something that is in your game plan, just make sure that you have a purpose to it. Make sure that you actually have a reason for creating this group, and that people have a reason to stay in your group, because there's so many out there. People are getting inundated. So you want to give them a real reason to stay in your group. So however you choose to do that, just make sure that you stand out. I mean, I do weekly giveaways, weekly coaching giveaways in my group. We have a lot of engaging posts. No, I don't allow promos in my group, but that's only because of the way that I want it to feel. I really want it to be somewhere different than any other place on Facebook. So, I don't encourage cross promotions or anything like that, but people enjoy my group because of these little elements that are in there. So just, if that is going to be something that you do, where you create a group, do it with intention, have a purpose, and really have an outline and a description of like what the people are going to get by being in your group. The next thing I did in February was a birthday giveaway. Giveaways have actually been, and actually I don't even think that I put this in the first slide, but I actually did a giveaway also in January for Instagram. But in February, I did a birthday giveaway where I gave away a free coaching hour. My 1 hour coaching call was about, I think, $350 at the time. So the value of the giveaway was $350. I used an app called King Sumo Apps. And if anybody wants that, I actually have a code for that. So if anybody wants a discount code for that and wants to utilize that for themselves, you can feel free to email me and I will give you that. But the birthday giveaway added about another 300 people on my list. And the King Sumo app I highly recommend, because it allowed people to share their entry in order to gain more entries into the giveaway. So it was a really good way to get my stuff out there on social media as well, not just to the people who signed up. So I want to just reiterate that, like, all of this stuff that I did, guys, I did not do with Facebook ads. All of my list building, all of this stuff that I did, all of these people that I've gotten on my list has all been organic. I'm actually just going to start doing Facebook ads this month, so I'll let you know how that goes. But all this stuff was very organic, so it's just really about showing up and being there. So I want to move on to March. In March, I did another giveaway. This one was a little bit different. This one was actually, I called it the 16-16-16 giveaway, where I gave away each day for 16 days. I posted about a topic in a group, and whoever participated in my post had the chance to win a free session with me. So I gave away 16 of those over 16 days. It was supposed to promote my VIP program, which I ended up putting off because I ended up getting booked out. So I actually ended up doing that, not for nothing, but it actually was supposed to be strategic, but it ended up just giving out for 16 additional free coaching calls. But my name was out there. People were starting to really recognize who I was, see what I was doing. and it worked. In March, I also ran the free Get a Client in a Week challenge. I think I had over 500 people sign up for that. I actually did run a Facebook ad for this one, but not a lot. I think I spent like $60 or $80, something like that. So that was the run a free Get a Client in a Week challenge. So anybody who participated in that knows what that is, but that was really fun. And what I did with that, and actually what I've done with all of my promotions, is always drove people back to my Facebook group. So when people participated in my challenges or calls, on my thank you pages, on my correspondence, I always ask them to sign up or join my Facebook group. And the next thing I did was the KLT call, which was just a couple of weeks ago. Another way to get people on my list, add people to my list, but really start to showcase my expertise and how, you know, I was able to really make this happen. During that call, I did promote my group program. So this is the first time out of, you know, the last 13 things that I did where I actually promoted a group program on a call. So it was after I gave all of this value, after I did all of these, you know, free coaching calls, after I did these mini launches and, you know, mini programs and got all these people on the phone and gave, that I finally promote something on my call. And I actually ended up with, I think, 12 people in my group program. I wanted 20, but I'll have to be honest with you. Once I got to that 12, I really didn't even promote it anymore. I did not do Facebook ads for this group program. I just didn't. Once I got to that point, I was happy with the group. I was happy with the people in the group and the group size. So I stopped promoting it. And the last thing I did was actually to create that group program, which was called the Babes That Shine Mastermind. And, you know, again, it's going to be the same thing. Like, people are getting a taste of what it's like to work with me, and some may or may not want to continue working with me. So as you guys can see, there was a lot of things that I did in these last 3 months. So I just want to let you guys know that, again, it's totally possible. It's just a matter of your level of commitment, what you're willing to do, how many hours you want to work, and all of that other stuff. So I actually am just going to quick pop over to the chat, and then I'm going to go into my income and expenses so you guys can actually see the numbers and see where that $100,000 in booked clients came from. Just going to pop on over to the chat, see what you guys have going on there. Let me see. Okay, you guys are just talking to each other, so that's cool. Let me see. How long did the short-term sessions last again? Jessica asked. Not sure which short-term sessions you're talking about. The free calls I did were about 20 to 30 minutes for the mini sessions. And then I had another program that I ran that was 4 weeks. Lisa asked, what system do you use to track your prospects and clients? Lisa, good old Excel spreadsheet. I keep everybody in there. I have what dates I contacted them and what happened on the call. Let me see here. What else? The wake-up calls were group calls. They were basically people just called into my conference call line. I talked for about 15 to 20 minutes, and that was it. Let's see, talk about the wake-up calls. Discount code for King Sumo. Anybody that wants that, you can email me at inspire@jenscalia.com. JC May asked, in your group, you don't allow promo, but you promo this on a Facebook group? Yes, other Facebook groups. So JC, there are certain Facebook groups that allow promos. Just check with each group before you post, so you can follow their rules, and as I call them in my group, intentions. Yes, that's the app, Ida, but you guys, I have a 50% code, 50% discount code. So anybody that wants to utilize that, just email me. Did I promote the group program before it was fully created? Yes, Jessica, I did promote the group program before it was fully created. I had the outline, but my group was sort of different. So it was more like a mastermind, more like a workshop. So I knew exactly what we were going to talk about on each week, but the program was not actually fully created. Kaiki, as can you speak to copy? Yes, get a copywriter. This is going to be a integral part of your business. I would definitely invest in a copywriter if you can't do it yourself. Most people can't do DIY copywriting themselves, so that's definitely something I would invest in. Nicole asked, Jen, how did you plan out your days to create all of the content for these programs talks? This is a good question, Nicole. I actually kept this on my phone, my iPhone, in my notes. Whenever I would just be out and about or doing something, I would get something that would jog my memory as to like, hey, I could write about that, or I can post about this, and I would just keep it in my phone, and I would have a list of things that I could talk about. Shantae asked me, how many hours do you work on average? I tried to figure this out, Shantae, and I'm gonna say I probably work about the same as a regular job. So I probably work putting in about 40 hours a week. 20 hours of the week I'm actually on coaching calls, and then the other 20 I may be doing consult calls, creating content, blogging, things like that. Okay, buying copy, look up copywriters, Kaiki. I actually know a couple. If you want some recommendations, I'll actually be giving you some recommendations as we get back into the slides. Greer says, wow, you really put in a huge amount of work. Greer, like I said in the beginning, it's just a matter of, you know, what you want. Maybe some people don't want 100K in 90 days. Maybe they want it in a year. So, you know, you won't have to do as much. But if you want it in the 90 days, you got to put in the work. Kimberly, I answered the question, how many hours were you putting in? I would say about 40. So it's just like working a regular job, putting in 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday. I have off on the weekends. I do not work on the weekends. Tanny asked, did I do any speaking engagements? Nope, I have not done that yet. That is on my radar to do. But I have not done that yet. Jessica again asked, do you purchase copy or create it yourself? For me personally, I do a combination of both, but that is because I'm a writer. I've been writing since I was 12. So I like to write. So all of my blogs and everything like that is written. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna go back to the slides real quick, and then I'm going to jump back into those questions. Okay, so I want to talk about the actual numbers, guys. So the numbers are going to be like this. I talked about Instagram already, and the total I did with Instagram was, I believe, 16,000, but for this year, 12 of that was in December. That's where my $12,000 month came from, in December. So in January, I made about $5,000 on my Instagram. The Shake It Up, which was my small group program, I had sold 11 of those at $500 each. And this is guesstimate because it was really not $497, but I didn't feel like getting into the actual, you know, details of the numbers. So that was approximately $5,500. I booked 3 one-on-one clients at $3,000 for a total of $9,000. I booked 9 one-on-one clients at $3,600 for a total of $32,400. I booked another 7 clients at $5,000 for $35,000. The 10K Lab, which was the shorter term program that I did, it was 4 weeks long for $997. I sold 6 of those for approximately $6,000. Then I went into my Babes Mastermind. I actually did an early bird. The early bird price was $497. I sold 8 for approximately $4,000. The Babes Mastermind regular price was $675, and I sold 4 of those at $675 for a total of $2,700. I did. I don't offer this anymore, but I used to offer a one-off call where basically it was just 1 hour with me and then a 30-minute follow-up a week later. Those were at $350, and I sold 4 of those for $1,400. And then I did other kind of little special offers here and there. So that included those no-brainer offers that I was telling you guys about. I also did a birthday special, which I sold a couple of those. I also offered a discounted hour call for a telesummit that I was participating in. So that was approximately an additional $2,000. So the total there was 103,000, give or take, just about 103,000. So let's talk about the expenses. The expenses, I actually got, and I'm actually going to call some people out here. So if you guys want to know exactly who my quote unquote dream team is, I actually had 2 life coaches. So these were people who weren't coaching me on business at all. I actually finished with my business coach, Becky, in December. So I had her life coach. My life coaches are Lisa Carpenter, who is amazing, and Julie Pham. And that was approximately $2,000. I also had spiritual guidance with Sherry Hemstreet. She used to be called Ma Cherie, but she's Sherry Hemstreet now. I'm sure a lot of you know who she is. And that was about $1,500. I did hire out a couple people for small biz coaching sessions. So they were like, $500 an hour, $600 an hour, just to kind of keep me on track. So that was a total of about $1,500. My VA, this is something I highly recommend for you guys, is to get a VA. My VA is awesome, and she's fast, and she charges me about $160 monthly, which was approximately $500. I have a graphic designer on call, and I spent about $300 on her. The question here that you guys all want answered is sales copy. Who is your copywriter? I actually have 2 different copywriters. One copywriter that I used was Lauren Vanessa Zink. And I also hired out Erica Strauss, Erica Lee Strauss. Her website is ericaleexo.com. She is the bomb. I love her. She totally gets my voice. She was able to whip out the sales copy for my new program, and it's amazing. I mean, I want to buy my own program based on her copy. So like I was saying, that copy is really crucial, because when you're actually getting people to the site, you don't want to confuse them. You don't want them to kind of get on there and think like, hey, well, I'm really not sure what I'm doing here. Let me just click off. You really want to captivate people when they land on your site. So copy is crucial. Other business expenses, so those are like, my, I have like a recurring things like I don't use MailChimp, but like GetResponse, my scheduler, instant teleseminar, my Zoom, Skype recording, like things like that. My monthly business expenses are about $525 a month. So that is $1,575. I did get rebranded again in the beginning of the year, and that was approximately $675. Client gifts, all of my clients get gifts from me. That was about $800 that I've spent on that. And this one I actually want to talk to you guys about, because as I was going through this, I kind of was like, where did I spend this money? So if you look, it says like other programs and coaching, $3,000. Like, this was little stuff that I was still buying, and I was just like, oh, that's only $97, or that's only $150, or that's only $200. Like, let me buy it. That stuff adds up. So just make sure when you're purchasing things, step away from the shiny object and really evaluate if it's something that you need for your business success, if it's something that you really need to take your business to the next level. So that right there is something that I'm going to work on personally, is just really making sure that, the things that I purchase, they may seem good, they may seem great, but if it's not something that's going to take my business to the next level, I am not going to spend money on it. And it has nothing to do with, not investing in myself or anything like that. It's just a matter of knowing, what's going to work for me in my business. The next thing, that was a total of about $12,000. So if you take the 103 and you minus the $12,000 that I actually spent, the total is about $89,000 that I've gotten. And this, guys, actually is also, this is booked clients. So I don't actually have that $89,000 in the bank. I am still getting payments, which actually works for me because like this month I'm getting about $20,000 in payments from my clients. So it really works out for me to have that steady, consistent income and not have to hustle every single month because I know I'm getting cash every month. And so what this allowed me to do. What did all this money allow me to do? It allowed me to pay for my own coaches. It allowed me to pay off credit card debts. For anybody who has been following me for a while, when I started this journey, I had about $50,000 in debt. It's something that comes up a lot. You know, people that don't want to invest in their coaches or don't want to invest in their business because they don't want to, you know, increase their debt. That's a little bit different. You know, when you're investing in coaching and things for your business, it's an investment. It's not debt. The next thing is it allowed me to travel. I'm actually traveling for the first time this week in about 2 years. So I was able to travel and not feel guilty about it and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm spending money. It allowed me to live worry-free. It also allowed me more freedom. And I'm actually happier. My relationships have improved with people in my life, my friends, my partner, my son. So it really has allowed me to do a lot. And how you can do it, I just want to give you guys a recap. We're actually running a little later than I thought we would. So I just want to give you a quick recap of exactly the things that you can do too. So how you can do it. Free coaching offers to get your name out there, especially if you're new or if you're transitioning, if you're going from one coaching style to another. This is a great way to get your name out there, get your feet wet, really start to play around with your ideal client and your ideal niche, and just really see if that's where you want to go. The next thing you can do is giveaways and contests. This is fantastic for growing your list. Running a challenge. Running a challenge will not only grow your list, but it also allows you to engage with potential clients on a more personal basis and bring them over to your Facebook group if you're going to run a challenge. The next thing you can do is to create an awesome lead magnet or opt-in. So something that people are actually going to sign up for, give you their email address in exchange for this awesome thing that you have. Now, I just want to make a note there that you want to make sure that this opt-in has to do with what you coach on. You don't want to do something completely, you know, different. You want to make it seamless. You want that opt-in to be that first step to them getting to know you and getting to eventually work with you. Host free training calls or webinars like this one or like my wake-up calls, constantly giving value. If you want to do it once a month, do it once a month. If you want to do it twice a month, do it twice a month. If you want to do it every week, do it every week. Whatever you want to do based on how many hours you want to work. The next thing is, and I didn't really get into this too much, but run Facebook ads to target new audiences. So I know a lot of you have come to me in the way of a group of some sort. I posted this in a couple different groups. But like I mentioned earlier, I am going to start running Facebook ads campaigns to different audiences, to people who don't know me already. So it's going to be interesting to say the least, but definitely you can get a further reach if you have a little bit of money to spend on Facebook ads. Next thing is guest posting. Guest posting has been huge for not only my list building, but also for me being seen as the expert. It's increased my visibility past Facebook groups, and past social media. It's driven traffic to my site, and I am now being seen as the expert. Use social media, forums, Facebook groups to connect and build relationships. Guys, it's all about the relationships. Create a no-brainer offer. Remember, that should be somewhere in the $97 to $147 range. For somebody to really not think about it. If you're going above that, people are going to have to think about your offer and if they want to purchase it. Next thing is to create a lower cost program or offer with urgency. So like I did the 10K lab, you know, I did it for, you know, it was 4 weeks instead of 3 months. It was $997 instead of $3,600. And I only had a specific number of spots available. I don't know why, but I put this in there twice. Use Facebook advertising. The next thing is follow up with everyone, everyone that you come in contact with, even if you don't think that they could be your ideal client, they probably know someone that is. You can also, create relationships with them as peers or somebody that you could do a possible collaboration or JV partnership with. So just really build those relationships, follow up, make sure that you're connecting on a regular basis. The next thing is to actually collaborate. So if you have somebody that maybe has a similar audience, I wouldn't recommend doing a collaboration with someone who does the same exact thing that you do. But if you do two different things, so maybe for me, like I would collaborate with, a copywriter, which I actually am going to do for my programs. So we have the same target audience, but we don't do the same thing. So collaborations could be another way that you can get your name out there. Next is value, 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 and consistency, consistency, consistency. If you look at everything that I've showed you guys so far, those are the two main things. Just constantly giving value, being very, very consistent, being very present, and being very visible. I think that's it. I actually do have one more slide because I just wanted to show you guys this. This is GetResponse. I don't use MailChimp, but these are all the campaigns that I've run over the last year. So as you can see, these are all different either calls, promotions, webinars, challenges, opt-ins, like all these different things that I ran to build my list to, I think we're over 7,000 now on my list. So I'm going to pop back over to the chat real quick, and then I'm going to let you guys go because we actually went a little over what I thought we would do. Let me see. All right. Okay. Stephanie asks, what do you recommend for automating emails to join your events? I use Leadpages and GetResponse. There's a ton of different mailing options you can do. Carolyn asks, which groups do you like? Do you mind sharing? Yes, I like the Entrepreneur Incubator. I like my group. I'm also a part of Lucky Bitch, which is a private group. I'm also a part of another private group that's more of like a mastermind, and they're smaller, so I actually like that. Marissa asks, is it okay to share your why, even if it doesn't relate to your business and your clients? There's got to be a way that you can tie it together. So if you want to type that in the chat box, Marissa, and let me know what that is, and maybe we can figure out a way to tie that in together. Jacqueline asked, how much do you pay for one-on-one coaching? Variety. There's people that have, programs for $1,500. There's people that have programs for $15,000. It really depends on what you need, how you vibe with that person, what you can get out of the coaching. There's a whole range and a whole gamut. And I've actually had a coaching call, or I'm sorry, one of the wake up calls was how to find the right coach. So if you want to look back at that, you can do that. Let me see what else I have here. Okay, I have a lot of questions, guys. Janaea asked, I'm a Brazilian coach, by the way. Thanks for all of this. My best work is one-on-one coaching. I had thought of some programs that are sort of aligned. My idea is my guidance, but not my niche. For example, lose the excess of emotional eating. I also have manifesting ideas. Sure. Janae, I would just figure out a way to make that tie into your resilience coaching. I'm sure that you use all of these tools in your coaching. So find a way to make that go back to your resilience coaching. How do you manage to create so much content, courses, etc.? When were you so busy marketing, promoting, and coaching? Jacqueline, I'm a content machine. I love to create content. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Some people, it's a little bit more difficult for them to create the actual content, but this is something I love. I've been writing since I was 12, writing poems, writing books, things like that. So it's very easy for me. And then Elianka asked the same question. And like I said, it's about 40 hours a week. I spent half of that time on actually coaching and the other 20 actually creating the content and courses, promoting, marketing, all that stuff. Jacqueline asked, who to use for copy? Erica Lee Strauss. Nikki Lutz says, or Rebecca Lutz says Nikki Elledge Brown. She is excellent. She will help you write your own copy if that's what you desire. Carolina asks, did you have different FB groups for challenges and your business? No, I send everybody to one Facebook group. I used to do it separate before, but it got too crazy to manage all of these Facebook groups. So now I just send everyone to my one standard Facebook group. Oops, I lost my spot. Let me see. Marissa says, I gave free coaching calls all day on Friday and I loved it. Perfect. Melody asks, will you raise your one-on-one coaching prices again soon? Yes, I will, but I'm also going to be including copywriting in my packages. Jen, I answered that question. Are these numbers cash or what you got paid? $100,000 in booked clients. So I have $100,000 in contracts. What is the structure of your one-on-one sessions? You can go right to my website, Lisa, and find that out. A couple of people asked me who my VA was. That is Terry Smart. She's awesome and she's fast. Someone's asking me a tech question. Am I using a mic? Nope, not using a mic. I'm using my MacBook Pro. Family Systems Group, not sure who that is. Did you do the Shake It Up online in a group meeting? And what did you specifically speak of with 11 people at the same time? That was in a teleconference type style, and I used Zoom meetings for that. Let me see. Who's your VA? Carrie says, love you, Jen. It's been so fun to see you grow. When you said you did organic advertising and not social media, what does that entail? No, organic advertising was through social media. Organic means I did not pay for ads advertising. So organic was just building my list through social media and building my list through guest posts and things like that. I don't have any group programs for 3,000 or 5,000. I'm not sure what that is. The VA was Terry Smart. Guest posting, yes, Jen Blanchard, guest posting is amazing. Jennifer Dow, what kind of gifts do you give your clients? You can ask them. They get awesome gifts. I give them all something different, so. Erica did my copy too, says Marissa. Erica is amazing. All right, I think that we got all the questions. Danielle asked, how do you get published online? Find where you want to get published at and submit. Most places have a submit or a write for us page on their website where you can actually go in and just submit your articles. Delphina, what is my group? My group is Babes That Shine. You should have been taken to that page when you got to sign up for this. My one-on-ones were 90 days. That is changing, however. Sherry Hemstreet, yes, is Masherie. I think that is all. Jacqueline, did you create your own challenges? Yes, I did. Oh, let me type in the name of the Facebook group in this chat so you guys can see it. And I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. If you guys have more questions, because I'm just getting a lot on here and I don't want to take up a lot of your time, please go to my group and ask me the questions in there. Just make sure that you tag me. I just put the link in there for the group. So thank you guys. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I just want to thank you. And if you have any other questions, please go into my group and tag me and ask me the questions, or you can email me inspire@jenscalia.com. There will be a replay in case you missed anything or if you weren't able to be on the call live. So just want to show my face and say bye, guys, and thank you for joining me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.